Hey, I'm JD with Next RV Life, and I do have the Grand Design Momentum that comes with the Lippert's auto leveling system, so I'm quite certain that my entire RV is level. I'm only talking about being unlevel for the last 20 inches of my garage space. So let me invite you to come to Toy Time with JD. So imagine this is an RV. It's got wheels right here. Here's the front going up here, attaches to my truck, but this is my Grand Design Momentum, and when we travel, this back door becomes a door. When we fold it horizontal, it becomes my back deck, and we use it, almost 99% of the time, we keep it as a back deck. When we are loading or unloading our toys, it becomes a ramp. And imagine this is the toy of your choice. Imagine it could be a motorcycle, a golf cart, smart car, any kind of 4Runner or whatever. Obviously, some of them are going to have higher clearance than others. A golf cart may not have as much, but basically what's going to happen when it's in ramp mode, this golf cart or your vehicle of your toy is coming up here, it's coming over, and boom, it hits right at that center point right there, that edge where it's squared off, and that's called high centering. And off-roaders know this. It's not fun. Check out that guy. So the RV makers, I guess, knew this, and so they fixed the RVs. So when you have a ramp like that, basically what they've done, now using your imagination again, because you're so good at it, I'm sure, that's the front of the RV now. This is where my truck backs into it. This is my toy hauler garage back here, and this is my ramp. So door closed, deck, ramp. Now when you see the toy coming up, it has that incline that helps it so it doesn't high center, scrape, or have any issues getting into the RV. So that basically is why that is there. But for my garage, I have a 12-foot, 6-inch garage, and the last 20 inches or so are actually at 11-degree tilt. And that can be problematic because when you're traveling, even with the door closed, any kind of things that you have here want to slide up against the four-season doors. Also, if you have a air mattress or anything, it wants to fall down into that section. So I understand why it's there, but I don't like it. So I did something about it. Our Grand Design Momentum 397TH toy hauler actually has a 12.5-foot garage, but the last 20 inches actually taper off at an 11-degree angle. So I used a piece of cardboard to create a template to figure out what the angle. So I used a few hand tools and some wood that I had and created these supports so that I could actually create my own level floor. One of the things that I created in here is this wooden piece. So basically this piece, and I'll show you once I take it out, what this does is it's level with the floor, and the floor tapers off right there. Basically what that allows is for the ramp, so that it goes into the ramp down outside, that tapering part. I had problems if I moved my chair, if I wanted to move my desk into the very corner, my chair would go down the tilt. So, I haven't been moving. It depends on where I put my desk. That's one of the things with my desk. I can move it around, and it's real easy to set up, facing, depending on my view, if that's out to the beach, or that's out to the mountains or the beach or wherever. Depending on where my view is, that's how I can orient my desk. But I found that I needed to have that little walkway. And what will happen is, you go open like that. That is, I had to cut some slots into it to give room for the door to function properly. So it does have a little bit of a gap behind it, but that's a small concession. But that works properly. So then I can go out here And when I extend it out, now you can see that basically this is at an angle. So I'll take it out because I want to go ahead and paint it. I'm going to add some wood at the very corner back there. You can see what I should have done. It was just a little bit too tight up here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a piece of wood on the back side of this thing. I want to round off this edge, and then I will go ahead and stain it. Basically the same as I've done my desk here. I'll do this black. Black is almost a burnt color. It is signifying burning with a blowtorch and then sealing it. That's basically what I'm going to do to the floor. That should match fairly nicely. So let's get that out now, and then we'll go ahead and see if we can round off that edge first. Add those 2 pieces of wood on the sides, and then we will, I'm going to go ahead and get it stained up. Come on. Okay, now you can see the construction a little bit. So this is the back side facing the doors, the sliding glass doors going outside, and it has a taper to it like that. So didn't take, a whole lot of rocket science measurements to make this work. It's basically getting that initial tilt, and then I was good. And now you see this is basically we've got this tilt going down here. So that makes it very difficult for a lot of different things besides collecting dirt there as well. But one of the other things that I did here is I created this this little wood here is just a gap filler, especially as I'm going to be stepping down from the that angled piece, or the piece that flattens it out. So I didn't want to have a little valley there, so I'm actually going to go ahead and do 2 things. I'll put a little hole on each end with a little rope, so it's easy to just grab the end of the knot of the rope and pull it out. And I'm also going to stain it same burnt color so that it kind of matches. This one I definitely want to, I don't care. It's not a trip hazard or anything. It's actually saving you from being a trip hazard. Whereas when I step off this back, looking at it, this is the front towards the front of the house. So this is the back, this is going to the deck. This is a good, 4 inches. So basically what I think I'm going to do is run about a 1 inch. I'm going to round this off, and I'm going to run about a 1 inch bright yellow or red stripe, just so it's noticeable whether when you're stepping in or stepping out onto the deck. I went ahead and removed 3/4 of an inch from each side of the leveler there, so that it was easier to maneuver in and out. And then after that, I used my router. I did a little bull nose round off just to make it a little smoother and nicer. So I just went through and maybe have some sawdust on me still, but yeah, I just went ahead and rolled over the edge a little bit so it's a little smoother transition stepping out. Also, when I take my motorcycle out, I don't always take this out. I'll just ride down over it. So that'll make sure that wood doesn't tear when I come off of it hard. So now I'm going ahead and add the 2 pieces to the end that will bring this out, proud another 3/4 of an inch on each side, and that'll give me a little bit more space in the walls. Okay, so I let these stains sit overnight, and now we're going to go ahead and add some varnish. I did go do a big box run to the hardware store to get, basically this is polyurethane, but it is exterior use. The piece right here, this, which is upside down right now, but this piece right here is just going to be on the floor, and it might get wet. It might be close to, you know, the moisture of the sliding, you know, four-season doors. So I want to go ahead and just make sure that's waterproof. So this piece right here is just outside the sliding glass door, and it kind of fills in that gap. So it is definitely going to get a lot of weather to it. So I want to make sure that that is properly sealed so that, you know, the wood doesn't get any extra moisture in there that it doesn't need. So anyways, we'll go ahead and put some polyurethane on here, let it set. I'm going to paint the tops first. Then I'll paint the bottoms. I'll flip it over and do the tops once again. So, all right, let's get to it. So I'm still down here in Florida. I know it is March, but it actually is quite warm outside. It's in the mid 80s, I don't know right now, but it's quite pleasant. I'm not in the direct sunlight as well, and there's a good breeze going, so this varnish is actually drying pretty quick. But while I was still living in my sticks and bricks and getting it ready to sell, learned a few tricks about painting, cutting in, and doing some certain things. But since I know that I'm going to be doing some more painting with this, and I don't want to go clean my brush right now, and the worst thing you can do is let a brush gum up and become one solid mass. So a trick that I learned is to actually put it in a Ziploc bag. That'll seal it, and that'll keep it moist. That'll keep the air out so that it, so when I go to use it in another 45 minutes to an hour, it's not already starting to dry on the brush. So anyhow, these two seem to be going pretty quick, so that's awesome. I'll give this another 15-20 minutes to dry, and then I'll flip them over to the bottoms, flip them back over here, and you know, since they're floor pieces, I'm not worried about being, you know, super fine. Actually, probably a little grit is even better, a little imperfection surface, so a little better traction. But I'm not worrying about actually making it nice and clean and very, you know, polished like a masterpiece or anything like that. So, yeah. All right, let's continue on. Okay, so I have finished the floor piece, and you see this is the doors here. Oops. So I have a nice, when I walk up there, I can easily see there's a step down. As we open up these guys, and here, this is the centerpiece that I used, or the piece that I used to fill this gap here. So that's basically what it looks like. So I've been using my floor leveler now for some time, and it has proved absolutely perfect for what I needed it for. It basically, the last 20 inches or so now is usable space. I can go all the way up almost to the four-season doors. So, and they close properly or can open back up. And one of the things that you saw on the video when I first did it, I had cut the width of the boards almost to the exact length. I actually could have probably taken another inch off because, you know, I've got maybe half an inch on each side. So it's not a whole lot of play, but it's enough to actually maneuver the leveler out. So just want to give you an example of how to take it out. So I do understand why they actually have the tilt in the garage here, that it just helps to keep vehicles from high centering and scraping as they come in. But with a 12.5-foot garage, and the last 20 inches of it is tilted, sort of semi-usable space, it just didn't work well for me. So this leveler has worked great. Again, let me go ahead and reinstall it. The floor leveler back. Because of the Happy Jack posts, I found that I have to come in at an angle in front of those and then come down lower and set it in, because you know, we took our bench seats out of here, but the Happy Jack, you know, supports are still here because we use the top as a storage area. But these posts are what make it difficult. I can't just lift it up from one end or the other, which initially was my idea before I started engineering it. But ultimately, this has worked out great for me. The doors are able to close properly. Have no issues with that. I've got room now, so if I want to put a tote or something there flat, I can go all the way up almost to the four-season doors there. You know, it doesn't have any issues binding or anything else, so it's worked out perfect for what I needed. And if you have a toy hauler, you may need the same thing or may want the same thing. So pretty easy project overall. It was just getting the angles and the cuts right. You know, if I had a workshop, I would have cut this front angle a little better, so maybe that it meshed a little bit more with the slope of the, you know, the garage. I understand why the slope, the tilt is there, but it's not usable 99% of the time. I'm JD with Next RV Life, and NEXT is an acronym: New Experiences, Exciting Travels. So this was a new experience. I'd never actually built anything for an RV or in an RV or to an RV. So, you know, I saw what was wrong, what needed to be fixed to make my life a little better. So it was just leveling out the floor, and then it was just trying to implement it. So it took me a little bit to get the gap for the four-season doors, make sure they slid properly, and they also tilted out when they needed to. So, you know, just some little tweaking like that, but at least it got me thinking about it. And it gave me the confidence to go ahead and build other things as well. So if you like this project, now this may not be exactly what you need, but I have other things that I'm going to be working on or have already worked on, and I'll show you those each week. I'm going to be dropping a video. So if you would, take a moment right now, go ahead and subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, and even ring the bell there. That way you get notified every time I drop a new video. And comment below. Let me know what I can improve on, because there's a whole lot. I'm very new to YouTube. I'm learning the whole gamut from production, post-production, everything. So let me know. And with that, I'm JD from Next RV Life, and hopefully we'll see you next time.